Hello my friend, today we are going to talk about never-ending war between the rules. What? Yes. The rules are fighting with each other. The rules that you are trying to apply using something like this. What does it mean? Well, let's add here a few more rules. Like for example, let's change the size to like 40 pixels. Let's make the big text, and also let's change the color. In order to change the color of the text, we use the color property, and then we can choose the color from here, like for example blue. You can also change it using here, but we'll talk about this later. So we changed a bit, and as you can see, we have got now a big text that is blue. The problem is about this war between rules is that you can create styles not only here in the external CSS file. No. You can create them inline, right? Or you can create them here inside the head tag, inside the tag called style. Or, well, there are some default values, right? Notice that the paragraph has got some kind of margin, right? Notice that we have got margin between this text and this. We didn't need to add the break line here, right? To make the line enter, right? So there are at least 4 ways to do it. So what will happen when I, for example, type here paragraph and I will change the color to red? Okay, here we have blue color. Here we have what? Red color. As you can see, the text is red. But why? And also notice, which is very important thing, is that we kept the font weight and font size, right? So we kept whatever was up, right? But we changed the color to red. And this thing is called cascade, okay? The way you choose which style should be applied, right, in specific place is called cascade. What is a cascade? Because it's very rarely used word, right? Cascade, waterfall, when you type in Google, is a waterfall that has got something like steps, rock steps, right? And the water flows from up to bottom. And in the CSS world, it's pretty similar. Cascade is a never-ending war between the rules. You have got the browser default styles. Imagine that the water flows here, right? This is a step, like on the cascade, right? And the water falls down, boom, and then boom, and then boom, right? And it takes, like water, every style that was before, right? So browser has default style, and it sets the margin, right? Notice that we didn't remove margin or other styles from the paragraph when we added here and other styles, right? We didn't remove the font weight and font size when we added here the color, right? We just replaced the color, right? But we didn't remove other styles. You can also make an inline style like this when you type the style and change the color to, for example, purple, right? And we're gonna change only the color, right? But we're still gonna keep this, and we're gonna keep whatever is up, which is margin and other things like that. So as you can see, only the first thing is purple. So the first thing in the cascade is browser, then the external CSS file, like the style.css, which is here, right? And then we have got the style defined in the style tag. So this is here. And then we have got the inline style, which is here. And the thing that helped me understand it more is that, look, when I move this box here, I am like overriding this, right? Like this. Which means that when we type, for example, in external CSS file like that style.css, what? The font weight, bold, font size 40 pixels and color blue, we are just doing this. So we keep whatever was in browser default styles, right? But we are adding new layer, right? So we are adding new things like font width, font size, and color. I could change whatever was set by default, right? Like for example, margin. I can change it. Let's change it to 50 pixels. You can do it, right? Doesn't mean that you can do it. So as you can see, we could change it. We can even set it to 100 pixels. It's up to you, but you don't need to. This is important because we keep whatever was up, right? That's why it's called Cascade, because imagine that water is pouring from top to bottom and it takes whatever was before that, right? So it takes every rule that was before, but if something is new, it's gonna be replaced, right? So now you know what does C means in CSS, right? So CSS is style sheets, so files with rules that are representing the styles and they follow the cascade rule, right? I have simplified this topic a bit. Yes, this is simplified because there are more to this, but we're gonna talk about this more in future lectures when we learn more types of selectors. Yes, there are more of them. So in time, you will learn more about how does style prioritizing works, okay? So which should be prioritized firstly. Now notice that this is pretty logical because, well, it would be stupid if you couldn't change what is default behavior by the web browser, right? You can even check the default behavior. In the Google Chrome, you can use the Ctrl+Shift+J, and when you inspect any text, like for example here, you will notice that here is a default behavior like display block, margin block start, 1 EM. We're gonna talk what does it do, but as you can see, here are user agent style sheet. It is what was added by the web browser, okay? So we can change this behavior pretty easy, right? By, for example, using the external CSS. And also, if you have, for example, external CSS and you have got one simple thing that you want to add inside specific HTML file, you can use the style inside the head tag. Why? Because, well, you don't need to then load it in every subsite, right? And also, if you have something very, very short and it happens only once, then maybe you can use the inline. However, most time the recommended way is this thing here. So using the external CSS, because this gives you the most benefits most time, right? Because when you change here something, you change every HTML file that includes the CSS file. Okay, that's all in the lesson. Thank you very much. And as always, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.